Board, particularly the one that signed that suspension.
Sir, my Contractor General is here, sir. And I've not received any.
Are you aware of any suspension, of any press release suspending you?
I'm aware of the press release, like I said, suspending myself and my colleague in video.
Did you confirm if that suspension was valid or not?
Like I said, sir.
Yes or no?
No, sir.
Was there a response from the Nigerian Correctional Service that the suspension was invalid to entitle you to continue to wear uniform and address Parliament? While you're on suspension, you are making a caricature of Parliament. And I won't sit here and listen to somebody on suspension. Chairman, can I?
The suspension are fake. The minister that suspended him through the other supervisors or whatever they call them in the correctional facility, they fooled all of us on social media. The guy was like, no, it's on paper, but no. I think that really got to this woman, who is a member of the committee, that she had to say, what is this story of law? Nigeria is burning. And here we are discussing all these arguments on social media, arguments between this and that. Story of law.
Come here that say that we will die. And we are finally spoken. You have finally spoken. And we are happy that you have spoken. Before now, we are supposed to have had all the necessary documents, even before we came here. I called the clerk now to ask him that what documents do we as committee members have to work with before we even came here in the first place. We don't have any documents here to work with, and we are just collecting the documents here now. This is very, very untidy. And our institutions that are here, we need them to defend themselves. There are a lot of fake news in the air, and I'm also aware that Bobrisky has stood for $1 billion, claiming that the voice note is AI generated. Whatever it is, we don't have the Bobrisky lawyer that is here. What is the reason why Bobrisky is not here? Is there any serious reason why he or she is not here? Is this so we need to know. So please, I want to appeal.
Order, please. Order, please.
So that we do not send a wrong signal. Already Bobrisky is claiming to be untouchable.
Yes. BDM is happy. They say Bobrisky is untouchable. He's claiming to be untouchable. He's claiming to be untouchable.
Services is very bad light. And this young man, even though his speech is very unbecoming, I do not support the way you have spoken here. But let this young man not use us to shine. We must do the proper thing. Bobrisky should be addressed, issues should be addressed properly. If the man says, I talked about Bobrisky, and the Bobrisky is, please, I want him to be here so that you hear what I will say.
Bobrisky be brought here.
My dear colleagues.
So that means this is to be continued. It simply means Bobrisky, Idris, would have to have his day. The drama is not over. And according to that guy, that man that just spoke there, Bobrisky is showing to everybody that he is untouchable. VeryDarkMan said Bobrisky spoke about his godfather, and he doesn't know if the godfather was among those people in there. So he would have to be kind of careful of what he says. until he's sure that the person he's addressing or is talking about is there. Meanwhile, Nigeria, that is totally in a serious debt. The last time I kind of shared with us what is believed to be the Nigeria's current debt. In the last 16 months, Nigeria, Tifnumbu, has been unable to attract any real investment to Nigeria. And that is something that is so shocking to a lot of people. And when I say a lot of people, I'm talking about those who usually monitors the progress, economic progress of countries. Yes, you may have criminals in charge of Nigeria. The criminals whose possible qualification is just because they are loyal to Tifnumbu. They do not have anything to offer. But nevertheless, it is Nigeria. There's always some potentials that always get people attracted to your country. Yeah, the foreign direct investment may not be this, but there will always be foreign direct investment. But what a lot of people are so surprised of is that in the last 16 months of Tifnumbu in charge of Nigeria, they have been able to attract a mere $100 million. Like, what the hell? Nobody wanted to do business with Nigeria, except for those who want to borrow them money, including those who want to buy their cheap bond. You see, every time they talk about Nigeria bond being oversubscribed, bond is a cheap money that is backed with a future oil prospects. Let me explain that to you in a layman language, okay? Whenever Nigeria says we want to raise money from the bond market, it is not because Nigeria has anything to offer than oil, but it's a cheap, sort of a cheap distance, right? Nigeria will say they are looking for people to gift them $500 million. So everybody that will hear that in the global market, they will ask, for how long? I say, no, 6 months or 1 year. 1 year. So we'll give you 10% interest. So what that means is free cash from everyone, okay? And that $500 million, they can even oversubscribe it by even giving them up to $700 million. Now, let's say you have $10,000 to buy part of that bond, and they are giving you 20% interest, like free money. No investment should give you 20% interest. Well, you see these criminals in Nigeria, they are offering ridiculous interest because the future oil sales, oil prospects in Nigeria, will be used to pay those people. So from the source, if Nigeria make money from crude oil sale, the money won't come to Nigeria. The money goes straight to, if you put 10,000, I put $1 million. So how much is 20% of $1 million? $200,000. You don't have to do anything. It's a free, cheap money. Politicians want money. You give them $1 million. In 12 months' time, guarantee, you get your 1 million. You get extra 200,000. So what they usually do then is, most of them that have looted money from Nigeria, they will subscribe to this bond. Maybe not you and me, because me, I don't get 10,000. I don't even get $5,000 to buy their bond. Because they know that from December, if I buy it in January and I give them that 1 million, everybody, the money will go. They will give the cash to Central Bank of Nigeria. Okay? It may be like $500 million. They will have the $500 million cash within a week. The money is there. Now, people that organize the sale, they will now wait till November. By November, every oil sold in Nigeria, the money will come back to you again. The money will go to a special place, the hand. And they will say, okay, we don't give you $500 million. Oh. So what is 20% of a $500 million? That's going to be probably like 200 million, no, maybe $150 million interest. They don't sell you anything. No. They don't do any business with you. They just provided cash for your criminal politicians. And immediately that Kadobi, Tifnumbu and the rest of them, once the money is in, they loot the money. So by December, January, by November, December, all the money sold, all the crude oil sold. Instead of the money coming to you, it goes straight to these people that organize the money and give it to them. And me, I don't have to do anything all year round. For example, if I'm a millionaire now and I have like $2 million, 10%, that's a $300,000, $200,000 free cash. So Tifnumbu and his gang, they have been selling bond, and their appointee in the NNPC, they have no choice because the money doesn't even come to them. I say, okay, the money don't come to you. Now pay us. No, it won't come to you at all. It goes straight to the lender. Then what are they doing with the money, the bond they collected? They are funding the budget. Funding the budget that has already been padded budget, where most of the money goes straight into the pockets of your lawmakers, the politicians who have inserted fake projects into your budget. The money won't come and build your roads. The money won't go and build your schools. The money won't build your industries. It won't improve your electricity. It will not do nothing. It's just a free, quick cash. These guys have nothing to lose. For Bokwari, they said one of the problems facing Nigeria today is that they may be telling you that you are oil producing country. High right. Bokwari has used the future oil exploration in Nigeria as collateral for loans it took and expended, stolen. The effect of all that loan that it took, and the repayment of that is totally on you, which according to Tifnumbu and gang is the reasons why they don't have money to run Nigeria. So they have to borrow more, and they will use every means, all means, to borrow more. And as the money comes in, they will write how to spend it. Stuffs like buying private jets, building presidential palaces, paying extra code on their travels. And once they run out of cash, they go somewhere again and be like, what should we do? What should we do? Let us go and borrow again. The finance minister in Nigeria is also the coordinating minister of economy, Wale Edun. So the last time they went to America, they started begging the United Nations for debt forgiveness. According to them, if they don't forgive their debt, there is no way out. This poverty shall be permanent. But here is the supposed minister of Foreign Affairs, Tagat, telling Sheung on channels that Nigeria is not even one of the countries that have problems with borrowing. Okay, Nigeria can still borrow as much as possible. Borrow for what? Borrow to spend. They have been unable to attract real investors. They said Coca-Cola want to invest $1 billion. They said that G7 in India, they want to invest $10 billion. They said these other people have pledged their $20 billion. Shingbai has not been invested in Nigeria. That could have made any meaningful impact other than what you have been reading in their media that has never translated to any economic improvement or any economic contribution. You can use propaganda to jabber. Like you can grab it or snatch it and run with it. When it comes to running the country, you are going to need more than propaganda. In what way in this world is the Minister of Foreign Affairs talking about economy? Listen to him.
So, Minister, if debt forgiveness is part of our agenda as a nation, just like the Obasanjo government was very successful, so I look at the nations that Nigeria is owing, 5 of them, which makes up approximately 593, almost 600 million US dollars that Nigeria has gotten in loan. China is leading the pack with about $4 billion that we are owing that country. Are we talking to China for some kind of debt forgiveness if we went to the global stage for debt forgiveness?
That is not what we're discussing with China. And when it comes to the issue of debt, look at the debt to GDP ratio even of Nigeria. So we're not even amongst the critically indebted nations when they talk about debt. When we talk about debt of developing countries, Nigeria is not in that sort of a precarious situation. In fact, as a matter of fact, China is prepared to lend more. China is prepared to invest more in Nigeria in terms of infrastructure development and other things. So that is not. But you see, what you're failing to take into consideration is when we talk about debt forgiveness, we're not necessarily referring to ourselves. Nigeria is considered to be a leading nation, not just on the African continent, but in the global south. So when we speak on behalf of Africa, we speak on behalf of developing nations, we speak on behalf of the global south. And we speak as the largest black nation on the planet. So that you have to bear that in mind.
Absolutely. Eden looked at the President Bola Tinubu's speech at the 78th his address to the General Assembly, the 78th session. And now you look at the speech of the Vice President. There are almost a repeat and a copy and paste proposals from those two speeches of Nigeria's presentation to the UN General Assembly. For example, debt forgiveness. It was one of the things that President Bola Tinubu canvassed for.
But it's not copy and paste.
No. I mean, not in that sense. I'm not saying it literally word for word, but I know that over the years, several governments in this country had canvassed for similar things. They are gone for asking for a permanent seat at the UN Security Council. They've asked for regional peace within the African sub-region or West Africa or on the continent. Illicit financial flows and how the wealthiest nations can help to ensure that those who are reaping the nations of Africa off are not benefiting outside of the continent. These are some of the issues. But the question will be, which of these has Nigeria be able to benefit from? Debt forgiveness, did we benefit from it? Do we have it? We
benefited from debt forgiveness.
Permanent seats on the Security Council, do we have it?
Under President Obasanjo, we benefited from debt forgiveness. Have you forgotten?
No, I'm saying from President Tinubu, from last year, and now we're talking about this year's benefit. So are any of our proposals been listened to? Has anything been granted?
It's a process. It's not an event. It's not just an event. It's a process. It takes time. But you have to be there. You have to be present. And then these things happen. They don't happen overnight. We're talking about the entire planet taking a decision, and then it cascades down, and then you start feeling the effect. So the effect that you felt when the last time we had debt forgiveness did not just happen with one anger. That's just it. And if you're talking about even health, global health, pandemics, and all of that, and the fact that we are now talking about producing our own vaccines after what had happened during the COVID pandemic. These are things that have palpable results that you can see, but don't expect that as soon as hunger wraps up, that's it. The entire debt of the global south.
But we asked for it last year. That's the point I'm making. That some of these proposals are repetitive, do we have a progress? Do we have it?
Even in my submission, I alluded to the progress that has been made. Last year, when President Tinubu talked about the reform of the United Nations Security Council, he was one of few voices that was to lead on that. This year, the very opening, President Lula talked about it. Before hunger even started, a few days before the hunger convened, Linda Thomas Greenfield, the permanent representative of the United Nations, said they are in support of African countries getting 2 seats in the United Nations Security Council. The US was not talking about anybody getting additional seats the year before. So you can see that there's been a shift in their position. And it is the pressure that countries such as Nigeria put on the global stage and bilaterally on these countries that makes them shift. So we are getting results.
So, there are those who fear,
want to keep the people hungry and angry. But you say, be patient. There is no free beer parlor anymore.
Since when I born, you never seen this kind of abuse before. Turubu, I must abuse you. Turubu, number 1, Oguokiyapa. Turubu number 2, Oguokiyama. Turubu number 3, Oguokiya your children. Turubu number 4, Ogugo bury all your family. Turubu is a god to you, a god to you. Turubu is a god to you, and Wausa.
I'm highly disappointed of Nigerian government because the Nigerian government were highly disappointed in them due to foreseen circumstances. Definitely, I'm one of those people are proving people should die in coronavirus is more better than people should die in hungers. Hunger kills more than coronavirus because some people are less privileged. Due to foreseen circumstances that I said it, some people are less privileged, which they are based on daily pay, which are not even based on salaries. But our government thinks that the lockdown is the best solution to coronavirus, and proving it to an extent and to the levels of alacrity that if someone die in coronavirus, it's more efficient to die in hunger. Because some people will be at indoor. There's no way to make our own life.
This is not the Ahmed Bola Tinubu I know. Since 1992, when I encounter you, I don't think this is the Ahmed Bola Tinubu I know. That calls me his friend, and I call him my friend, and calls me my son, and I call him my father. This is not the Ahmed Bola Tinubu I know.
Anarchy loans.
In the next 2 hours, 40 minutes, Nigeria will be 64 years old. A 64-year-old crippled giant, the giant of Africa, and being led by a mentally disabled Kolu, and a country supposedly of 200 million people whose destiny is in the hand of this man.
All classes, you know what they call F level? When you get failure in all the subjects that you take.
F9, F8, F9, F8, FF, double F. That is his name. All classes.
All classes.